We went upstate this weekend to hit up the track at New York Safety Track on Monday. And of course, the whole thing got rained out, but whatever. Spent a good day, a good couple of days up there with a couple of friends. It was honestly turned out to be really good. The track was a shit show, so we just didn't go to the track. Anyway, this weekend was super fucking cold. You know, I think we hit temps of like 50 degrees, 45 degrees. So yeah, not only like too cold to ride on the track, but also got me thinking about winterization and gearing up in the winter, and kind of how to deal with it all. I ride through the winter, but I know that a lot of people winterize. So I wanted to talk about winterization a bit. And I don't, like, since I've never winterized, I'm no expert. So I went over to Ducati NYC. I talked to one of their techs over there. I think he's a Master Tech or something. This guy named Webb. Super cool dude. He's worked on my bike a few times, worked on my friend's bikes. And so, you know, I went over there and just asked him to kind of define what winterization is, what's involved, the cost, all that. Here's what he had to say.
Like for me, I winterize my bike, quote unquote winterize my bike. I put it in a garage, I put it up on a tender, and then I'll get like an oil change at the start of next season. What should people actually do?
That's the way I would suggest it too. Store it. Obviously you want to, if you're in a garage, you should run half a tank of fuel, if not more, but definitely with a good fuel stabilizer. I prefer a K100, works really well.
Why that?
It's a weird process. It's like molecular structure. It'll even make water burn. Not to sound like a sales pitch, but I've seen it work. Even the diesel mechanics that my buddy, who's the distributor for it, sells it to, they sell less water separators all the time to their customers because it works so well.
So like if you don't put that stuff in there, what happens? Our fuel these days with the ethanol content will go bad within approximately 2-3 weeks. And then it starts to gel up. And once it starts to gel up, it could take out your fuel pump and everything else that's bad along the way. So realistically, you want to do it that order too, just like you said. You want to do your fuel stabilizer, add it to your tank, run it for a while so you make sure it's circulating in the injectors so it's not bad fuel sitting in the injectors. Suggest running it for 10 to 15 minutes. Then shut it off. Here at Ducati New York, we take batteries all the way out and put them on a bench to keep them charged. So you take them out entirely? You don't even put them on tenders?
Nope. We take them all the way out and then use a rotating system for tenders.
So I imagine like a bank of like 50 batteries just sitting there.
And we just keep rotating them day to day.
I got you.
Week to week,
cool.
So everything stays good and fresh. But obviously at home where you have a garage space and you have your own tender, no reason to take the battery out. Some of these batteries, for instance, like this 1200 Monster in the swing arm, is not the easiest battery to take out.
I remember this one. Yeah.
So leaving that one in is a great thing if you can.
Right. How does it differ? How does the whole process differ from bike to bike? Like cruisers, dirt bikes, whatever.
Realistically, not much. The only thing I would do if I was a two-stroke dirt bike guy would be I would fog the motor.
What is that?
Where there's a fogging oil, you spray it inside the cylinders, and then you rotate it over. And I would do that because that bike is easier to get to the spark plugs, easier to keep fresh that way. And since they don't run an actual oil in a crankcase, the coating on the walls is thinner. So you use this fogging oil, that way over the winter, your cylinder doesn't build up any rust.
Huh, okay.
So it's ready to go in the spring, you know?
And so,
or whenever you decide to pull it out.
When you guys take in bikes or like whatever, you know, there's dealerships with winterization services all over the place.
Yeah.
Service centers, whatever. When they take in bikes, do the riders generally like plan heavy service through the winter? Like,
I mean, it is, especially with our brand, it is the perfect time. If you're even close to a Desmo service, why wait for a season and lose your bike for a week? when you could get it done. And usually there's a discount in the winter too, which is nice.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, usually, especially if we're doing winter storage, I think here has always come with some sort of discount for accessories and labor. So while it's here, makes sense. Technicians have ample amount of time to do it, so they're never rushing through anything, obviously. They get a better look at your bike than during busy season, which is always good. Catch that last little thing, that zip tie that failed, that bolt that's a little bit loose. So it's always a good thing. Plus, then the way you start the season fresh, you don't have to worry about anything. So like I said, if you're 1,000 miles before, or at the end of the season, say late August, you're at Desmo service time. Well, you might as well hold off, wait, put it in winter storage, get it all done at the same time. That way, again, come here, start riding in March, bike's ready to go. Put the battery back in it, fuel it up, do the oil change, and send it on the way.
So, like, where do you guys store? Because, like, this...
We actually have off-site. We have off-site storage. We have our second location, which is Warhorse out in Scranton. And I believe it's like 50,000 square feet or some ridiculous amount of space that they have over there.
Yeah, so you got
and that's where the bikes go. They get trucked out there, put away for the winter. Batteries all stay here in our control, so we keep them charged and everything's fresh and ready to go.
And if you're doing work on that bike, I mean, you're not doing work in Scranton.
No. So if it were something you wanted a Desmo during winter season, while it was here for the winter storage, depending on when you brought it in. If you bring it in December, we might do the Desmo then, just hold off on the oil change part, send it out to Warhorse to sit for the storage part, and bring it back. Like I said, when you call up and you say you want your bike, we'll bring it back then, do the oil change. That way there's no moisture in the oil from sitting all winter, and get you right back on the road. But we can take care of the belts and the valve adjustment, during the off season, obviously.
How long do people usually store for, or does it like vary?
I would say on average 3.5 months, 4 months.
So starting like November, then we're having.
Yeah,
like
we are
February,
starting to see them now. The ones we see now more likely are guys traveling. So he's going to put it in winter storage anyway, but he's going to be away 2 out of the next 4 weeks, so he might as well just put it away now to alleviate the headache later of trying to rush it here. So
like, especially since you guys ship out, once it's in storage, there's no access to that bike, right? Not for.
Well, I mean, if you needed something or you wanted to do something, they would bring it back over for you. Or if you decided it's an amazing December, but you put it away in early October, they'll bring it back over for you.
Because like last year, it was like super mild, right? So if you're putting it out in November, you realize shit, I could ride all day.
Yep.
Yeah. And like, and so in terms of costs, what do you guys like? And across like different bikes, what do you see?
We have a flat rate. I don't know what the plan is this year, but it's so many months plus the oil change, and it's a package deal, like $550, $600 is roughly what it used to be. Don't know what they're doing this year, obviously, but
Nice.
But yeah, that's what it normally is on cost wise, and that gets you that so many months. And then after that, if you wanted to keep storing it, you just pay by the month, and there's a monthly charge for that. But it does include oil change and a safety check. So,
What's in the safety check?
So safety check is one of the things I do right off the bat before we even send it out to storage, because if there is something wrong, now we can talk to you about it, the customer about it, and see if you want to do it now, you want to do it later, or whatnot. So it's bells and whistles, it's all the odds and ends. I'm going to make sure all your blinkers work, all your brake lights work, all that stuff. That way we know condition of motorcycle before it leaves here. So when it comes back, we already know it's documented. Hey, he needs a left blinker. Hey, he needs a stoplight switch for the rear brake isn't working. So we know preventative ahead of time. That way, when you pick up again, it's not a last minute, hey, by the way, you don't have a brake light, but we should probably fix that. But we have to order it, and it's going to take a week. So
you want it ready.
We do it in the beginning. Everything's ready to go. Everyone's on the same page communication-wise, and try to get you in here streamlined as much as possible.
Are there any like huge differences between, like, for winterization, like between like this Monster or let's just whatever, like an Indian Roadmaster?
No, really. You want to, make sure you're
tires are aired up, so they're not sitting in flat spotting as bad as possible. If you can move the bike around a little bit every once in a while, it's not such a bad idea sitting on concrete. But yeah, roughly every model is pretty much the same. You want to treat your fuel. You want to do the oil change at the end of the season so it doesn't collect moisture all winter. Safety check, because it's a good time of year to figure out what's going on, make sure you don't have anything going on that is going to affect the beginning of your next season. So that's basically it. But yeah, they're all roughly about the same, minus our situation where we're taking the batteries out. As long as you have a tender lead, which we install on every bike we sell, and everyone really should have one.
Yeah.
As long as you have that, you have access to an outlet, you know, it's just a matter of plugging in, prepping your fuel, running the bike so the fuel's in the right spots, and that's it. Count the days till you get to ride again.
Yeah.